Assalamu alaikum. Today we learn how to answer the questions in the IELTS speaking test. Now let's start. It's not just answering questions. You have to learn how to get the full mark in the speaking test. Actually, 25% of the score in the speaking test will go to pronunciation. So you have to pronounce English in a correct way. I mean, if you pronounce English in a correct way, 25% in the speaking test will be granted. You're going to get the full mark in 25%. So some words may be difficult and you make common mistakes, like when you say these words, idea, with the stress on dia. Interesting, put the stress on the first syllable and say interesting. Social, NCIA is pronounced like sh. Pollution, keep the air in your mouth and gush it suddenly like pom. When you gush something suddenly, it's like an explosive sound. Okay, say crucial. Again, crucial problem like big problem. We have here racial discrimination, which is differentiation between white and black people. Facial expressions, sensitive, sociable, which is extrovert, and the opposite is introvert. Discrimination, immediately, congratulations. Here, you have to know that TU is pronounced like ch. Like when I say fortune, mutual, like when I say any word with TU, so it should be pronounced like ch. Okay. If you want to master the common mistakes and not to do these mistakes again, if you want to master the pronunciation, go to IELTS Top Secret, my channel, and watch that video. I pronounce 106 English words. Most students make mistakes in these words. Of course, not all of them, but at least some of them are tricky. Okay, like when I say salmon, it's not salmon, it's salmon. Okay, now let's continue. In the test, you have to learn what to say and what not to say. You have to avoid saying easy words and try to use prestigious vocab and expressions. Like, can I say it's a terrific program or it's a very nice program? Of course, if you say it's a terrific program, you take a higher score because very nice is correct, but not prestigious, not very strong. Okay. Can I say I experienced a hardship or I found a difficulty? Which one can take a higher score? Of course, I experienced a hardship can give you a higher score. Okay. Can I say I was absorbed at work or I was busy at work? Many students say I was busy at work, and that's not wrong. It's correct, but you take a higher score if you say I was absorbed at work. It means very, very busy. Okay. If you say I want to get rid of that person, get rid of him, or I don't like to see him, of course the first one will give you a higher score because idioms and English proverbs can help you to get higher score. I don't like that singer. I can't stand her voice. So when you say I can't stand her voice, it's better than I don't like her voice. I can't stand her voice. I don't like her voice. Of course, maybe you are speaking about a famous singer like Celine Dion. You say, I can't stand her voice. Or some people say, I don't like her voice. The first one will give you a higher score. I can't envisage that he got a daunting task. I can't imagine that he got a difficult task. Both are correct, but the first one will give you a higher score because I can't envisage that he got a daunting task. It's the same meaning. Envisage means imagine, and daunting task means difficult task. But the first one means your English is prestigious. Now let's start the test. The test is from 11 to 14 minutes and it's 3 sections. Section 1 is around 4 to 5 questions, 4 to 5 minutes, and you have to be sure that you are there not to answer the questions, you are there to show off. Show that your language is good and speak for a long time. If you want to get a very good score or maybe the full mark, try to personalize your answer. Use I and we for a long time, using your personal experience, add your mom, dad, brother, sister, your siblings, uncles, aunts, etc. Okay, because when you add your personal experience, you can speak in a very good way. Now let's start. If he says in section 1, speaking about your house, do you live in a house or a flat? If you say house, you take 0. And if you say flat, you take 0. But because one word is not enough to give you a score. If you say I live in a house, you take a higher score. If you say I live in a big house, in a beautiful house, in a small house, you take a higher score. But if you want to get the full mark, say a complete complex sentence like, I live in a very big house located in the heart of the city beside a famous shopping mall, and add more details about your house. And that's, a very good answer, because we don't like you to say a short sentence or group of sentences. Okay, some students speak about the location of the house as, one of the advantages of your house. The location is great because it's very close to a mall. That's why I can access the mall walking. And if he says, what would you like to change in your house? Maybe you say, I'd like to change the garden in the backyard because it's very small and I want to make it bigger. That's good. Maybe you don't have a garden, but your sentence is correct. So it's not important to be facts all the time. You can imagine and say complete correct sentences. Maybe you say, well, I'd like to change the swimming pool because we are a big family and we want to extend it to be bigger. No, that's correct, but maybe you don't have a swimming pool in your house. Do you understand what I say? Okay. I mean, try to use correct English sentences and show your language instead of saying facts only. If he says, do you think you will live in the same neighborhood when you get married? Maybe you say yes. If you say yes, you have to say the reasons, justification, justify why yes, and say examples and details, and then go to the sub details and convince the listener using maybe statistics or studies showed or proved that. Okay, like what? Maybe you say, yes, I'd like to change. I'd like to live in the same neighborhood when I get married, uh, or try to avoid repeating the question, saying, well, I guess, of course, I'd like to change the area because when I get married, I need to be in a quieter area. My area is very noisy, and the kids of my neighbors make noise every morning. I can't sleep peacefully. Actually, it's really tiring. On the weekend, they play football in the morning, and I can't relax in my house. That's why I'd like to transfer to a beautiful, prestigious place like Lucille or Daphne, because in that place I can relax. It's a prestigious place, and my neighbors will be foreigners from different countries, and they have privacy. Okay. But if you say no, you have to say the reasons. Maybe you say, no, I don't like to change the area because I was born and raised there in that area. And I know my neighbors very well. We have very strong relations with each other. We visit each other from time to time. That's why I don't like to change the area. The neighborhood is really quiet, and we enjoy the beautiful area. We have a park, and we can relax and go to the park every day. There is a track for cycling, and that's why I can go cycling almost every day. So if you say yes or no, you have to justify your answers. Now, if we speak about English, for example, maybe he says, here, how long have you been learning English? If you say I have been learning English for 12 years, you take 0 because that's parroting. We have to avoid two things in the speaking test. One of the two things is parroting, and the other one is what? Is repeat. I don't like you to repeat your questions. I'd like you to say your own unique sentences. And the second thing that you have to avoid is silence more than 5 seconds. Don't be silent. Okay, so I have to avoid silence and parroting. Yes, of course, because if I say, who's your favorite movie star? If you say my favorite movie star is Leonardo DiCaprio, you take 0 because you added only the name of the actor, and you repeated the question. One word is not enough to give you a score. That's why you have to say your own unique sentence or sentences. Like what? You can say, well, I love many movie stars, and one of them is Leonardo DiCaprio, and then start speaking about that actor, how he is great. You can say, I almost watched all his movies, and I love him so much, and add the details about that actor. Okay, so if I say, how long have you been learning English? Don't say, I have been learning English for 12 years. You can say, well, I guess it's around 12 years, and I need to study English more and more, because when I study more and more, my English will be better and better. I can improve my English in that way. If you don't know, or if you don't have ideas, try to rephrase your ideas. I mean, paraphrasing means to say the same idea in different words, to use different styles. Like if you are asked, do you think English is very important? What do you say? If you can say, yes, of course, I guess it's very important because, and then say the justification. Because when I travel to any country, I need to communicate with the people in English, and everywhere I need English. Even the students at university need English, because if they study engineering or medicine, for example, they need to study in English, because all textbooks are written in English, and even the lectures at university are in English. So here you give an example about university, about traveling, and you can say one example like and add your personal experience. Like 2 years ago, I traveled to Hong Kong with my family, and it was like a piece of cake for me to communicate with the people in English. They most of them understood English, but even if they don't understand, I used the Google Translator, and it was translating from English to Chinese. But when I went to London, it was like it was very easy for me to communicate with the British people in English, because all of them speak English, and even in Italy they speak English and Italian, of course. So English is a must nowadays. If you are asked about holidays and he says, do you spend your holidays abroad or in Qatar? Here you have to vary your answers. You can say sometimes, some other times, but most of the time. Try to vary your answers and add your personal experience. Again, what do you say? You can say, well, sometimes I spend my holidays here in Qatar, and some other times I travel abroad. It's very hot here in Qatar. That's why I cannot sustain the heat. I love it when it rains cats and dogs. That's why I travel to London every summer in order to enjoy the weather. Here, you add the examples. For example, when I went to London, it was not just raining, it was pouring. Here, you said, I love it when it rains cats and dogs. You say it was not just raining, it was pouring. So maybe you speak about little shower and then about heavy rain. You have to show that your language is great, and speak normally, naturally, as if you're speaking with your friend. By the way, we have 5 easy points. You have to get at least half a mark if you use these easy points easily. The eye contact, body language, facial expressions, increasing and decreasing your tone. We are not robots, we are not machines, we are human beings. So try to increase and decrease your tone. Don't use a flat tone, because it's very boring, monotonous, and they consider it weak or weak point in conversation. So what to do? Try to speak normally or naturally, as if you're speaking with your friend, and add one smile on your face. It means you have self-confidence. Okay, type. Let's try answering this question. If he says, where did you go last year? All tenses should be in the past tenses, like past tenses, like what. Before answering any question, try to say well, like native speakers. Well means hasanan. Okay, so you can say, well, I traveled to many countries. That's like introduction to the answer, and then start speaking about the countries that you travel to. So again, we can say, well, I traveled to many countries such as Germany, France, Holland, Hong Kong, and Greece. But I loved, London a lot. London is special. It's, the best place for me, the capital of England. And I remember when I went to Greece, it was very hot, like Italy. Spain is really beautiful and has many beaches, but humidity level is very high. That's why I like only fast food in Barcelona and paella, which is a famous dish, but I don't like the weather. Anyway, Here you try to vary your answer. What about your family? Say, when we went to Barcelona, my dad loved the seafood a lot, and that's why we went to a famous restaurant near the beaches, and we ate a lot. We ordered a lot of seafood. I remember my mom ordered shrimps and calamari, but my dad ordered paella, which is famous with seafood, and I ordered sea mussels, and it was very tasty. All what we paid was only 90 euros, and that was not expensive. If you compare this with the prices here in Qatar, it will be maybe 50% of what you pay here. Maybe if you eat the same food, you pay around 200 euros here in Qatar. Okay, if he says, do you prefer spending your vacations alone or with your family or friends? Maybe you say, well, I prefer spending my holidays alone. And here you have to say the reasons. Why alone? Because if I travel alone, I will improve my English. I will speak with the people in English all the time, and my language will be better, of course, my English language. And I can make new friends easily. But sometimes I prefer traveling with my family and to have memories and, to have great memories with each other, because we visit many places and spend a great time with each other. Because during the school days, we are busy and we don't have time to communicate with each other. Everyone is busy in his studies or her studies. But most of the time I travel with my friends, because a friend in need is a friend indeed. Here you can support your answer using an English proverb. I mean, you can say unity is strength, الاتحاد قوة. You can speak about when you finish your holidays, you go back home because east or west, home is best. You can use some English proverbs to make your answer strong and get a very high score and almost full mark. Why we use English proverbs? To support what we say. Maybe you speak about freedom, so you refer to the ex-president of South Africa, Gandhi, saying we were born free, as Gandhi said. Maybe you speak about a famous speech said by Muhammad Salah, so you can say Mo Salah said one day, we never give up. So that's like trying to insist on reaching your goals. Do you understand? Maybe famous speech, maybe English proverb, like when the cat is away, mice will play, or there is still much more water running under the bridge, and it means we still have a chance. It's too good to be true, or if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. Like what? How can I use this? Maybe you are speaking about your friend who comes late every day, and one day I went to work late, so he says, "Why you're late today?" You say, "Hey, come on, man. If you live in a glass house, don't throw stones." It means you are late every day, and today it's just one day I am late. So if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones, okay? And here, if it says, what do you do on vacation? In this question, you can use the chronological order, like at first, then after that, next, finally. Don't forget to use that order because it's very important. In the morning, afternoon, and evening, what do you do? How do you spend your vacation? You can start saying, well, in the morning, I get up very early, take a shower, and eat my tasty breakfast in the open buffet in the hotel. And after that, we hang out together, me and my family and I, and sometimes we grab a bite or grab a cup of coffee, like if you are in a hurry. So here, I wanted to use grab a bite or grab a cup of coffee to show the examiner that my English is good. And it's not important to say facts, but say good English sentences or phrases or terminology. Maybe you say, and sometimes in the afternoon I take a nap. What's take a nap? Sometimes say take a nap or cat nap. What's a nap? Nap means you sleep for a short time, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. But cat nap, that's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Show that your English is good and your language is prestigious. Okay, and then in the afternoon, of course, I eat lunch in a beautiful restaurant. You can describe the restaurant: amazing, beautiful, fascinating, in front of Opera de la Bastille if we are in France, in Paris. Here you add more details. You can try to convince the listener that you are saying something true. Maybe you speak about something inside the restaurant. You say, one day I was invited to eat dinner with my best friend Giron. He's a journalist from Paris. And when I went to Paris, here you can add a story. You can add a story just to reach 45 seconds. And if you are stopped by the examiner, of course, you're going to get the full mark. You can say, when my best friend Giro invited me to eat lunch with him or dinner, he invited me to eat dinner, as I remember, and it was in a famous restaurant in Paris, downtown. When we went there, I found it so crowded. I said, Giro, how can we enter? He said, don't worry, Magdi. I made a telephone call and I booked a table for two. When I entered with them, the restaurant, I found a reserved table. So here you can say booked and reserved. So I vary my vocabulary. I don't repeat the same word again and again to show that my English is rich, okay? Rich vocab. When I went there and we found a table reserved for two, I found the waiter coming with two big dishes. I said, Jérôme, what's this? He said, it's the most expensive dish in France. You have to try it today, Magdi. I said, what's that, Jérôme? He said, frog's legs. I said, what? Frog's legs? No way. I can't eat frog's legs. I can eat anything, but not frog's legs. He said, come on, man. It's very good. It's halal food, by the way. I lived in Cairo for 6 months and Egyptians told me it's halal food. So why don't you try? Take one bite and I'm sure you're going to love it. I said, even if it's halal food, I will never try. Here, I added a story just to convince the examiner that I was happy in France when I went to Paris, and in the morning I ate in the restaurant. In the afternoon, I went with my family to eat lunch together. But in the evening, I was invited to eat dinner with a journalist called Jérôme. And maybe the story is real or fake, so your English is good and you're gonna get the full mark easily. Okay, and finally, of course, I go back to the hotel to sleep. Maybe you are asking about future plans. So if the examiner says, are you planning to continue your studies in the future? You can say, yeah, sure. I am planning to get the master and then, PhD, of course, after graduation from university. So, mm, grad sorry, graduation means you get the bachelor and then you get the master and PhD. Okay, that's very good. And if he says, what would you like to be in the future? Maybe you say, I'd like to be an engineer, or maybe you say, I'd like to be a doctor. Justify your answer. Say, why? Why engineer or why doctor? You can say, well, I'd like to be a doctor to help my country and save the lives of the people, because being a doctor, not only it can help me to get a very high salary and it's a prestigious job, but also, it can help me to cure, uh, the diseases and help the sick people. So speak about treatment, about diseases, about vaccinations, speak about details of your job. Okay. Some students say, well, it was my dream since I was young. That's good. And I'd like to be like my dad because my dad is a doctor. So I'd like to be like him. Here, you try to vary what you're saying. Okay. And if he says, is it, if you have to choose to take a very high salary or to be happy in your job, which one will you choose? Money or happiness? Maybe you say, well, I'd like to choose money because money talks. Money can make me happy. Say now the justification, why, and say the reasons, so the examples, how money can make you happy. You can say, well, I guess money can make anybody happy because you can buy the best house in the best place looking over the river or downtown. You can buy the most expensive, luxurious car. or travel around the world and discover the different countries. You can go shopping, buy accessories, perfumes, or whatever you want. Now you can vary your answers. Speak about the countries that you'd like to visit, like Japan. Maybe you want to visit America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Speak about the beautiful countries that you have a dream to visit these countries in the future. Okay, and then go to the details and speak about the delicious food that you want to eat. The maybe you want to get married to the most beautiful girl, etc. If we speak about food, maybe you are asked about food like what are the local dishes in your country? Here you can mention the names of the dishes. Like some students say, well, we have so many delicious dishes in my country, such as majboos, biryani, and balalit. You can speak about appetizers like salad, and you can speak about soup. If you speak about soup, go inside soup and say, I prefer lentil soup, sometimes chicken soup or seafood soup. If you go to salad, speak about different kinds of salad, such as Caesar salad, green salad, or Mediterranean salad. Then jump to the second part, which is the main course. In my country, we have majboos as a main course. Egyptians can say we have mahshi, and we have, uh, uh, Egyptians love mahshi a lot, by the way, because it's like vegetables stuffed with rice, and you can speak about details how you can cook this. Maybe Egyptians love kushari, or Moroccans, Tunisians love couscous. They speak about harira, which is a famous soup. So speak about what you like, okay? So if you jump from appetizers to main courses, you can speak about the main course. Like if you say majboos, you can say, well, in my country, they cook it with chicken and sometimes with meat, but I love it when it comes with beef. So at first you said meat, and then you were more specific and said beef or lamb. Okay, and then you jump to the last part and speak about uh, desserts. And when you say desserts, maybe you speak about rice pudding, chocolate cake, or whatever. And then if you want to say it again, say sweets, like oriental sweets or continental sweets. So here your English is super. You try to vary your language. And if he says, do you eat by hand or spoon, fork, and knife? Maybe you say, well, I eat by hand if I'm in my house, but sometimes I eat with fork and knife if I'm eating in public in a restaurant. So here you have to vary your answer again. For example, when I went to eat in the Atrium Lounge in Sheraton Hotel, I ordered omali. It's very delicious. I love it a lot, and it's the best omali in Qatar. And that's why when I went there, of course, I used the spoon in order to eat omali. If you have soup, you need to use the spoon. But if you eat pizza, actually, I eat pizza by hand, even if at home or in public, because pizza cannot be eaten by fork and knife. Here, you vary what you're saying. And do you prefer home food or restaurant food? Maybe you say, well, I love, the home food more. Say the reasons why. Because home food is more delicious, more trusted, and my mom is the best chef in the world. She cooks in an excellent way, and I love her food a lot. But if you ask me about restaurant food, yes, sometimes I eat in a restaurant, but it should be like five-star restaurant to be trusted, because I don't know the ingredients in any local restaurant. I don't know the people who cook. Maybe they don't sanitize their hands. The sanitization is not granted in such a restaurants. Here you sanitize, and sanitization, and you speak about the clean place, about the standard of cleaning the place, and etc. But you compare the home food with the restaurant food and say, sometimes I need to eat sushi, and that's why I go to a Japanese restaurant to eat there. My brother loves sushi a lot, and that's why he accompanies me many times to eat in a famous restaurant and the pearl. It's really expensive, but it worth because the food is so tasty. When you order the Japanese food, you try to use chopsticks. The first time when I hear you add more details, you make like a story. The first time when I tried to use chopsticks, I failed, and the people who were smiling, I tried around 4 or 5 times until I made it. And I put the piece of sushi in my mouth, and the people in the restaurant surprised me because they were clapping hands. They were happy because I succeeded in taking, the piece of sushi by chopsticks. But after that, it was okay for me. I was familiar using chopsticks. And when you are asking a question like, what do you eat when traveling? What do you say? You can say, well, sometimes I eat American food. Say like what? Such as steak and burger. By the way, I love the steak medium rare, but my dad insists on eating steak well done all the time. Now I added my dad or my mom in my sentences. But if I travel to Italy, I have to eat Italian food such as pasta, pizza, risotto, and lasagna. If you live in Rome, do as Romans do. Okay, so here I support what I'm saying using English proverbs. And of course, if I go to Japan, I eat sushi, and if I go to London, I eat British food, which is fish and chips. Do you understand? So that's very important to vary your answers. Now, let's jump to the second part in the test. If he says describe a place that you enjoy visiting, you should say what the name of that place is, where that place is, why you prefer that place, and explain why that place is different from the other places you visited. Here, you have to speak from 1 to 2 minutes. If you reach 2 minutes, you get the full mark in fluency. But remember, you have to speak about the 4 points. The examiner will give you pencil and paper to write down your ideas in 1 minute. After that, you have to do what? You have to speak. What you are writing on the paper will never be corrected. It's for you. But just make a diagram, spider diagram, and put a word like maybe you love London, so you put London in a circle and make arrows, okay, different arrows, and say the reasons. Where is London in the UK? Just write UK or England. And why you prefer that place? That's a big question. You have to put many arrows out of the circle, like safety, you write only safe. You speak about the weather, only write weather. Maybe you speak about the places, the hotel, the food, the people, and then compare that place with other places. Maybe you visited Barcelona or Thailand. You make 2 arrows and put Barcelona and Thailand. Now I will show you an example how to get the full mark in this section. Making an example is take a deep breath to relax before speaking. Like this, from the mouth, breathe in from the mouth and out from you. Breathe in from the nose and breathe out from the mouth. Now let's start. Well, today I'd like to talk about London. Actually, London is the capital of England. I love London because it's very safe. When I go there, I find many CCTV cameras on squares and police cars around me. That's why I feel secure. But you can find some thieves in London, but that's common everywhere in the world. But police in London is very strong and they can control the city easily. And I love London because the weather is amazing. I love it when it rains cats and dogs, especially in the summer holiday. I skip every summer to London with my family because I can't sustain the heat here in Qatar. It's sometimes over 48 degrees Celsius, and that's why we go to London to enjoy the weather. And by the way, I love London because hotels are amazing. 5-star hotels, and I stay in the same hotel every summer. By the way, the people who work in the reception, they know me very well. The receptionists upgrade my room for free, and I enjoy free parking, free Wi-Fi, and they have a swimming pool, a big swimming pool, and I go swimming almost every day with my siblings. And the open buffet in the morning is really fantastic. I find variety of foods, and there is a kids corner for kids to eat what they like. If I'm not in the mood, of eating in the hotel, I go sometimes outside the hotel to eat, to grab a bite or grab a cup of coffee, and we hang out together to Hyde Park or Sometimes we'll go to London Eye to take pictures and have memories with the family. But most of the time we go shopping in Harrods and pay in Qatar riyals because it's a Qatari place and shopping is great there. One day I visited Barcelona with my family, but it was very hot and humid. London is colder than Barcelona, that's why I prefer London. And when I went to Thailand, it was really dirty. London is cleaner than Thailand, that's why I prefer London the best. Now I spoke for 2 minutes and got the full mark easily. Maybe I didn't find time to speak about the people, to say they give me a hand and I can stand, they help me even if I don't need help. I didn't find time, so I skipped one detail, but I jumped to the last point to get the full mark, because if you miss one part, you lose 25%. Okay, I guess now it's very easy to speak in the test. By the way, the last section will be 4 or 5 questions about this call. Maybe the examiner says, how many times did you travel to London? You can say, well, I traveled to London around 9 times, and most of the time I travel in winter, because Winter Wonderland is amazing and the activities are great. I love the Christmas Eve and the events there are amazing. And then speak about the details that you can find and do in London. Maybe he asks you saying, do you prefer staying in a hotel or rent a house? So you say, I prefer staying in a hotel because there's security, and hotels are more comfortable than houses. I don't need to cook. I need to be pampered and relax in a place like a five-star hotel. And they have room service, and they have very tasty foods. They have a gym, and I can go working out almost every day. Even I can go swimming. So you speak about the hotel in detail. And maybe he says, what kind of transportation do you like in London? Do you like walking, taking a taxi, a bus underground, or what? Or maybe you rent a car. You say, no, I don't like renting a car in London because it's very crowded. The best way is walking, especially my hotel that I stay in every summer is located downtown. That's why it's very easy to access different places, to go to malls, to go shopping, to go to Hyde Park. Everything will be near me. That's why staying downtown is better than staying in the suburbs. And walking is amazing because I can't walk here in Qatar. It's very hot. And sometimes if I go to a faraway place or a remote place, I take a taxi, but it's very expensive. Um, it costs an arm and leg. It means it's pricey. Now you try to show your language and show that your English is fantastic. I guess now you don't have any problem in the speaking test.